Well, welcome everyone. This is Rob. Hope you're having a good day. Let's go ahead and make sure you can hear me. If you would please type the number 1 in the questions box so let me know that you can. I'd appreciate it. Oh, thank you so much. Very good. It is good to see so many familiar names and so many that I don't recognize. So welcome to those of you that are either newer or first time. Karen, thank you for that. It was a great Father's Day. Good day with the family, that's for sure. How you doing, Kevin? All right. Excellent. Beautiful. All right, beautiful. Very cool. Afternoon, Frank. How are you? And for part of the world, it is afternoon. For people like Robert, it is morning still, right? And some others even more than that. Karen, I think it's still morning by you too, no? Much earlier morning. Yep, me too, Brenda. Afternoon here. All right. All right. Well, Frank, that's excellent. Doing well, financially better. Yeah, Karen said it's 9 a.m. by her. On the West Coast. So upcoming workshops, guys, premium workshops on the 19th of June. We've got Trading You, Monster Market Movers on the 27th. Patterns in a Flash, the next one is on July 2nd. That's 8 to 9 p.m. For anybody that is a subscriber to Patterns in a Flash, Tony puts on a 1-hour training once a month that he includes with the Patterns in a Flash. You can ask questions about the patterns, and he also does some additional training in there as well. Power Hour, of course, every Monday. The next Patterns today is this week, June 19th, 12 to 1. So hopefully you guys are all registered for that. Tonight, E-mini Think Tank, our Trader Talk. Very excited about that. We've been doing real well lately. Power Options Plays. We're up $650,000 on the year. So that is very awesome. A couple of on-demand still available. Here's the social media page, guys, the follow us page. So I had a couple of videos come out. I just saw an email get posted today, get sent out today with one of the videos in it. You'll start seeing more and more of that, the YouTube videos that we put out, and hopefully you're watching some of the Instagram and the YouTube, the LinkedIn, the Twitter, all of it. Twitter, again, more, and the announcement today was based on the ES, on the S&P 500. What do we look at for resistance and support today? All right, so definitely a place to check out. All right, so let me take that down. And let's go take a look at the market. So nothing great today as far as overall moves on the Dow when you consider the Dow is up 48 points and the NASDAQ also is up 48 points. All right, so that's been a very nice move for the NASDAQ, but on the Dow, not so much. S&P is up about 4.5 points right now, which is the S&P 500. So let's go take a look at an intraday chart of SPX. Well, actually, let's do this. Let's go over to the ES. So this morning when I put out my tweet, I had talked about, and let me full screen the chart for a second, make it easier for you to see the where. We did it. So we closed up on Friday right about there. Right? This morning we came up to the highs of right about there. So let me go ahead and put this back in perspective now. All right. So what I had talked about was we ran up until about 9:10, I think was what I had said there. Yeah, just till about 10 p.m. last night, 9:50 rather, 10 to 10. So we ran up till about 10 o'clock last night. We came back down. We got back in the range this morning when I did the tweet, which was right about 9 o'clock or so. We were getting back into the range of that, the closing price from Friday. We broke through a little bit, came back up. And we're just kind of range bound in between there. If you look at the daily chart for the last 6 bars, the last 6 days, we've got the dreaded box of neutrality showed up. Right about inside of there. That dreaded box of neutrality just kind of floating around inside of that. And we cannot break above. And ironically, it's coming at the 2900 level, which is the 618 level for the fibs. So all of that resistance holding up in there, we've got a confluence at the 50, with the 8 moving average, which is also the bottom of our rectangle, or pretty close to it. So there's lots of pressure building right now inside of that range that we, for the last 6 days, have not had a decent breakout, at least not one that we were able to sustain, one that would stay overnight. We've had some intraday breakouts, but nothing that has taken off. So overall, we're kind of flat. Now, when we look at the NQ at the NASDAQ itself, the NASDAQ had an awesome run this morning. Now, when you look at some of the movements on the NASDAQ stocks, not surprising, right? When the move took place, the majority of it was over by 10 o'clock. By 10 a.m., if the move had already taken its moved its course, and then it's just kind of range bound. There's a trade setup. I taught it not long ago in Monster Market Movers called Power Hour, where you focus on the very first hour of the market. It's 45, so let's see, what's that? 40, so it's going to be this one here. So it's off this high, which is the highest high of the first hour, and then the lowest low of the first hour. You tend to be range bound most of the day with inside of there. We popped our head out 1, 2, 3, 4 separate times today, but could not close above. So if you're an aggressive trader and you're trying to catch the breakout, you would have gotten slapped all 4 times today as it pulled back in, inside of that range. So caution on overall on where we're headed right now because of the ES, because of the S&P 500, because of that dreaded box of neutrality, us just going sideways, and make sure that you know that these lines exist and where they are, and that the moving averages are there, and so forth, which is why you guys should be back here every single week checking this out and making sure you haven't missed anything. All right. So I did not take a whole lot on equities this morning, but I did do some futures trades today, and the futures trades were based on this training we did here in Trading You a couple of weeks ago, probably 3 weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks. We did a training, and the recording is up there on the Parabolic SAR. And if you look, we had, let me grab a pen. We had a very nice, don't like the color, too dark. Something that'll stick out a little bit better. We had a nice channel going on in there between that 75.04 and 74.90, we'll call it. Right, we had a nice range bound movement going on, and we finally got the breakout today right near the open of the day, right, on that one big candle up. And there's a lot more to it than just the breakout to the upside there. What you have to take note of is not only did it break out, right, so here's our breakout candle right here, but then look at the next candle. So it broke out on this candle, closed above, right here. I've got my mouse on the vertical. The next candle, it came down and retested that horizontal line and bounced. So what a great opportunity to look at that breakout on top of the parabolic, a confirmation of what the parabolic is showing us in there. And then resistance comes in. Let's see if I can show it on this screen. I might need to make it bigger. Resistance comes in. We had this high right here, and then this previous high right there. We had a good topping pattern inside of there for that. So we had a good run this morning on the NQ. Did anybody get a chance to take the NQ or any of the futures on the runs this morning? Just give me a 1 for yes if you did. 2 for no is fine. Okay, so Roman said he did on the YM. Excellent, Roman. How'd you do on YM today? Karen, so I may be misreading your question, or your question, because you put a question mark. Parabolic and indicator. I think you're asking, is it an indicator? Is that correct? Are you asking if it is an indicator? Yes, okay. So it is an indicator. It's called parabolic SAR, S-A-R is the name of the indicator, Karen. That's pretty standard indicator set. Beautiful. So Roman said, good, I did good. I waited for the breakout and the pullback and I got in on the bounce. Exactly what we're talking about here, Roman. Beautiful. Great training of what you picked up out of E-mini Think Tank on Monday nights. Fantastic. Good. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Look, tonight, let us know how the trade worked out. So it is a standard indicator, Karen, that is available. And it's the blue dots right here. Oops, not what I wanted to do. Move my line. So let me put that back where it was. Okay. It's the blue dots down in here, the purple or pink dots that are up in here. That is the parabolic SAR in there. So it is a standard indicator set though, Karen. So, and we did some training on it inside of TradingView Academy, and they're archived, guys. So you can go back in there and watch those again and again and again. All right, so let me see. So the monthly videos right here, trading with parabolic SAR. All right, that was a 1 hour long training that we did on it. Yep, parabolic SAR is in TOS. It's free in TradeStation. Let's see, Jim said, does it make a difference? One of your charts shows NQM19 and the other NQU19. Oh, why would they? Maybe you know what? I might have missed. Yep, I didn't change this template over. Let's see, they all should say U. None of them should say M any longer. This template I don't always keep open. Let's just change it up here. Last week in class, in the E-mini Think Tank, we talked about rollover date coming in here. Right, same pattern. Everything worked exactly the same on it. Break out all of it. But it definitely should be. So good catch on that, Jim. I appreciate it. Everything else has already been converted because I was using it this morning. All right. Great. Cool. So guys, give me some symbols. What do you want to look at today? Bring all symbols into the mix. So you can see the parabolic, the Fibit. All right, AMT. All right, so AMT, let's see, Robert, okay, good. So Robert, I love the pattern, right? I love the pullback. Robert, you asked on this one last week, correct? I think you did. So I like the pattern that's here. We finally got above the fib line. We kept pressing our head into it. Yeah, okay, I thought so, Robert. We kept pressing our head into it. The moving average was a little too close to the fib line. A little concerning there for me, but the breakout is wonderful. Does this put us at, yeah, all times? It does, at all-time highs, right? Yeah, well, right near it, within the last couple of days. So we got the breakout, took place above that 212.29 level. Right, if you're a breakout trader, trade the move to the upside. Watch out for that 214.65, which is the recent swing high we had, or I should say recent all-time high. Really should consider a place to redraw the fibs, but we don't really have anything great. The stair step maybe, but it's nothing that's knocking my socks off there. So they're paying a 92-cent dividend tomorrow. Yep, 92-cent tomorrow. Got it. On dividends there, right on trade nav. Okay. Yeah, so you'll get a little bit of pullback from it, but you know, when a stock like this moves about $3.50 a day, that dollar may have a little effect on it, but probably not in the overall scheme of things. So just watch out for that 214.5 level. It's definitely a resistance to be concerned with. Charles, she did not, because we weren't sure what happened. So glad to see you back. Hope all is good. All right, good. So let's see. So Robert, I like it. I like the break to the upside. You know, we're looking at 221. Let's see. Do I need a fib in there? I definitely do. We've got to split them in half. So we're looking at about 217 to the upside as our first target in there. So you got that 214.5, 217 level. All right. Karen's asking for Netflix. So we have a bearish trade on Netflix. We might have been stopped out today. Yeah. No, we're not stopped out today. We already took an exit on it. No, we're good. We still have the trade. So I think. So I just don't know if we have 1 or 2 exits taken on it, but I'm pretty sure we still have this one. So right now it's in a bearish neutral bias, Karen. Let me give a little bit bigger view. Let's unscrunch so we can see it. So Netflix has been an interesting beast. Early in the year, great move, then sideways. Little ups, little downs. That 343.79 has been amazing as a support level. Broke through it today and just took off again. I mean, broke through it yesterday, took off today again. So watch out for the resistance. We are seeing 1, 2, 3 lower highs in a row. The lows, we got a higher low this time. So not really sure if we're going to continue the path or not on there. But right now, we're looking at 359 as the upside and 344 as the downside. So our Fibit is going to be key there. Hope that helps. William's asking for JP Morgan. I see in the far right, they've got earnings coming out. I don't know if they're confirmed or not in July 19th, but definitely make sure that you know where their earnings are. Last couple of days, William, have been rough on JP Morgan. And what I mean by that is it's been sideways. Look at the last 4 days. 4 days ago, you had a bigger drop, and then for 3 days, we've just drifted. We are, so we're in bullish territory. Bullish bias, but it's not a true bull. The 21 is above the 8. Another day, and it should put it right back where it belongs, right? So on the upside, we're looking at 112.5. On the downside, 107.5 are our targets. Bank, right? So it's big business. It's not massive movers. What do we have here? 366, $1.50, $1.83 a day. Right, about $1.50, $1.80 a day, whatever it is, something like that. Do we need Fibbits, Wayne? Let's see. 109, so 10 to 12. So not in here, we don't. We're okay in here with 366. Right, we're good there. Here we probably need it. 12.5, yeah, here we need it. So which means you also need it above. So we could add right now the 136 and the 118, negative 136 and the 118. So both of those populated for us. This way we bring it back up next week and we've gotten a run, at least we're there. All right, William, hope that helps. So Patty's asking for MasterCard. I think someone else asked for MasterCard too. No, maybe not. Okay, so MasterCard. Well, that was one of the considerations. We just changed out 3 candidates on power option plays last week. This was the one we did, the update we did yesterday was our first update that we did that incorporated or included those new candidates for us on our list. So MasterCard was one we looked at, but they were not, it was not one of them that we chose. What is this? April, May, June, July. So we've got next month, MasterCard should have their earnings coming out at some point. Right, so let's see what we've got. First question is, what's our bias? And we were in bullish neutral yesterday. We gapped up and pulled right back again today, which is a little concerning. 10.79, so we'll call it 11 bucks. 57, 67, 68. So we don't need Fibbits on here. We're okay without the Fibbits. We have an ABC in place, looking for extensions for confluences. We didn't really get them. I'm going to take this down off of there. All right, so you can see we broke down through that 8. So on MasterCard, Patty, I'd want to see it close above the 8 before considering a bullish trade. If it does, you've got room up. Yep, you guys there? All right. Yeah, it's just every once in a while there's a new version to go to webinar and I just keep dropping off of it. So we are, appreciate it, Amos. So I would definitely look for Patty to move back up above the moving average, the 8 moving average, the pink line on a close. 269 is the target. Downside, you've got that 257.5. So you've got a little bit of room to the downside. If we get any more continuation up, the 21 will cross over the 257, give us confluence, just added strength to it. And then that next move to 268, 269, definitely, you know, 8 or 10 buck move, definitely has some nice opportunity there. And then you were asking also for the spiders. Okay, good move up, pull back, good push to the negative 272, and where are we now? So we're looking like the S&P 500, right? Just a bunch of sideways days, and it's indicative of what's going on, guys. There are some stocks that are rocking, but we're seeing more and more of this starting to happen because of the uncertainty. You know, I know it's early on the bandwagon yet to jump on the bandwagon over the election, but I do believe that you're going to start to see a lot of negativity of people just griping out there and yelling impeachment and things like that. And I think you're going to see lots of stir up. You know, do we go to war with Iran? You know, all the concerns, China, trade, Mexico, all of that, I think is what's causing, is what's causing some of the moves we're seeing now. Is just not giving us definitive in there. I know, Robert said starting, it didn't even stop. I get it. I get it. So we look at SPY, right? S&P 500. Just caution in there on that one, Patty. If we go back to an F5, you've got 295 is the upside, 288 is the downside, which is our ADMA. Hope that helps. Jim said, with a lot of indexes and stocks going sideways recently, does it appear that the summer might be on the quiet side for the moving, or could it be a lot of traders on vacation during these weeks? It's not necessarily the traders on vacation. I think summertime is normally quiet, right? Just as a general, as a rule of thumb. But I think there's a lot of uncertainty that's causing some of that right now also. But the summertime part of it is definitely a big piece. You know, the expression sell in May and go away. Well, maybe, but you know, I mean, look at the appreciation we had. You know, yes, we had some downtime there, but the downtime had nothing to do with the summertime. The down had everything to do with news and Mexico and China and all of that. So, you know, it's possible, Jim, but I don't think you're going to see much of it being the vacation that you are of the summertime period, and then just news, right? When I mean news is, again, Mexico, China, some of that type of stuff coming out or not coming out. All right, so Barry, let me see if I can't get back to your question. So Patty, hopefully that was helpful. So Barry said, Chipotle, small drop or horizontal in a bullish move. How high will it go? Boy, that's the magic question, isn't it? Seems to have a big drop in past month and then rising very fast. So let's go look at Chipotle. I can tell you why they dropped. I didn't go last week. That's why they're doing what they're doing there. So, Barry, let's just back up for a second. Forget that it's Chipotle Mexican Grill, and let's just look at it as any other chart. What's happening? The same thing is happening on the S&P and so many other stocks right now with these sideways type moves that we're seeing in there. Right? You had 2 days, right? This was Wednesday, I think. Thursday of last week, we had that same type of move down that we're having today. Granted, we made it to that 731 level last week, down to support. We haven't got there yet today. The day is also not over. So we've got, you know, 4 days. We can put in a dreaded box of neutrality here, right? Build that out, and we've got, you know, some range in there. And the interesting thing is that 731 on the bottom for support and that 746 on the top, the fib lines. Let's see, what is this? So this is 744, we've got 746, right? So about $2 away, we're there, right? We're using those fib lines, not as a channel, but more of a sideways move that's taking place in there, right? So how high will it go, Barry, is another question, right? And it is the magic question, actually, right? So where were we? You could see where the all-time highs were. Right here. A little higher than that even. Just trying to get it there. Okay. So right about 759. So look at that. The 382 that we've got drawn there, Barry, is the all-time high. And when I say all-time high, I should be careful. I don't think it's been higher. No, it hasn't. Okay. It's just I didn't go all the way back and check with a weekly chart. So we're good. So that horizontal line, Barry, that 758 level is a major resistance level at this point, right? So if it pushes up and crashes, we'll look to maybe redraw some fibs. If it pushes and breaks out, then our next resistance above is 784, and then of course we would need an 800 in there also. Let's just put that in now. As well, right? So lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of opportunity in Chipotle, but we've got to break that 746 level barrier. Okay. Hopefully that was helpful there, Barry. see where you went. Okay, there you are. Let me go down and look at the questions that came in. No, Barry, we don't adjust. It's a good point. Barry said since the 759 was 3 years ago, is it really 759 now, or should we adjust 2 to 3% for inflation for the 3 years? Businesses don't grow just because of inflation, right? Businesses grow and improve. Well, let's not use improve. They grow because of their sales, right? And it's not just the sales dollars, but the profit. So if they raise the prices and they raise prices 2 to 3%, and the overall cost was 2 to 3%, they really didn't make anything new as far as we're concerned. Sales went up, profit went down, right? Comparative to sales, then dollars may be the same, but the ratio is down. So the company's only going to improve if you have both. If you see the increase in sales and the increase in profit in the P&L. So no, we don't necessarily adjust for the P&L. We don't adjust P&L based on the inflation. All right, let me just see what other questions there were. Oh. Right, if costs went up by inflation, also inflation should be netted out. Yes, correct, Robert. You're welcome, Barry. Let's see, where's my next symbol? So Brenda was asking for the depot, Home Depot. Oh, let's get a little bigger view. Oof. All right, let's see. So Home Depot, unlike Chipotle, who I haven't been at, Home Depot I have been at very much lately. All right, so Home Depot's had a nice run. I'd love to see the pullback to that 203 level and a bounce before taking the trade, but that's because I'm not a breakout trader. Right, we're bumping our head today at that 208 Fibot level. So we want to be careful at that 882 if we're going to take that trade. We're setting up for a Fibonacci 4-step in here right now. So, and it worked wonderful the last time. Wonderful. All right, so on the upside, we're looking at 212.5. On the downside, 203. I would rather, before taking it, see the pullback to the 203 level before I jump into this type of trade on Home Depot. Hopefully that helps, Brenda. Let's see. Where we go? Snap. Hey, Grant, how you doing? I am a big covered call fan on Snapchat. I mean, they have some nice opportunity over and over again. Let's go back and look at the chart. All right, good pullback to the moving average in there. Looking for the bounce. If we get the close in the bounce, great opportunity. All right. So let's see, as a covered call seller, right, $13.57 stock. Let me do this. Let me open up this spreadsheet. Oh, there it is. Okay. So let me see. Look at a covered call. Stock right now is $13.58. Right, the strike we would look to sell right now for a covered call is the 14. We sell the 14. We don't usually have sirens in my neighborhood. It's an ambulance out there. Sorry about that. The 14 is going for 19 cents. So we're looking at 1.4% for the week, 5.6% for the month. Forget about the negative. That I didn't fill all the things in expiration, all that good stuff. This is the 21st, right? Oh, I suppose I got this old date here. Today is the 17th. So we're looking at for the next 5 days, 4.5 days, because half of today is already gone. We're looking at 1.4%. So big fan of them as covered call trades. I mean, you can get 5.5% for a month if you're not exercised. Yeah, I think there's wisdom in that type of trade. Okay, hold on a sec. All right, yeah, it's fine. Guys, give me a second. Okay. Oh, I guess I got muted there. Sorry about that. So let me go back because I'm guessing Amelia must have muted me when I stepped away when this guy was ringing the doorbell. So, Grant, as I was starting to say, I love it as a covered call trade. You can get very inexpensive with what we talked about as far as the premiums for the options, what we can make on the trade at 5.5% for the week. I mean, for the month, 1.4 for the week. If you're looking at it from a directional trader, for day trades, you can get very inexpensive options, 71 cents for an option. If you've got to go out for the month on it, we're looking at $1.82. So there's not a lot of cost to it. You just don't have big room for this to run. It goes 50, 64 cents a day. So it's not big, which is why I like it more for the cash flow type strategies, the covered call type strategies out there. Hopefully that helps, Grant. Appreciate you being here. Let's see. So Karen said, do you hold trades through the Fed announcement? Set stops, of course. It depends, Karen. If my trades are swing trades, I'll definitely have my stops set. If I'm doing day trades, I'll tend to stay away from the announcement part if it's a day trade. Not as much time for me to react. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Robert. I was surprised to see that Stephanopoulos interview as well, that he gave him that 30 hours access. But let's see. So we had a lot of people had Home Depot in there. Wally World. Robert's asking for Walmart. Trip, I thought you were playing hooky. I was all prepared for you here today, and and then I don't see you when we first get started. And I had something planned just for you. Happy retirement day, my friend. Retirement is the beginning of life, not the end. How do you retire happy? Right? How to retire happy, wild, and free? The market is how to do it, guys. This is the way to do it. Yeah, he's retired now, Patty. Friday was his last day. Yeah, Robert said, Trip, you're getting in retirement mode already, sleeping late. No, he had a problem with his link getting in here today. Congrats, Trip. Burn the bridge to take an island. There you go, Roman. Good for the Tennessee man, Patty said. Guys, sorry about jumping in there with that, but I saw Trips, in the list, and I just wanted to go and officially congratulate him. Trip, you're going to be around later on? I'll give you a call. Yeah, okay. No, we haven't done MU yet, Trip. Let me see where we're even at now. Let's see. So Robert was asking on Walmart. Robert, I love the uptrend on Walmart. It's hard to get a good Fibonacci on it because of the just that trending move. It was great move, great trend, but hard to get a fib drawn on there. But the pullback to the 8, which is a confluence of the trend line, would be a great opportunity for the bullish entry. On Walmart, but nothing that I really like as far as fibs go on it at all. Let's see. Brenda, sorry, wherever 4321, wherever you typed it in, I was not watching the text chat at that point, so I didn't see it. So if you give me more details of it, I'd be glad to elaborate on it. So Roman said, quick question. If I did a sell to open naked put and the stock went up, do I have to buy it back on Friday or just let it expire? So Roman, whenever you have a short position, like we talked about at the spreads workshop 2 weeks ago in New York for the mastermind group, whenever you have that short leg, I don't like leaving the short leg open over the weekend. You've got a little more protection if it's a weekly option because they expire Friday night. Monthly options expire Saturday at noon. So you open yourself up to a little more risk of being exercised in there. But the rule says if it's not, it has to be 1 penny in the money to be exercised. So that's on expiration. It can be exercised anytime by anybody. You take on that right. So I always close the short legs out. Well, as far as how to enter the covered call, Brenda, really not what I went over there. I was just talking about it as a covered call for Snapchat. So basically, you buy the stock and you write the covered call, right? So if we're going to Snapchat and I'm going to sell the front week option, okay? So you've got, and it all depends the platform you use, right? So we're going to go ahead and do a married stock, right? Where we're selling 5 contracts, and I just have it as 5. We could change to any number. Here's 1, right? Selling 1 contract of Snapchat and buying 100 shares of the stock. We're going to do it at the mid price. So we're buying the stock and writing the covered call all at the same time. If we click place order, right, it gives you a chance to review it, the order in there. But we really didn't go over the order entry component. We just went over the actual the idea of the covered call. No, not a 65 to 85 delta, Brenda. We use closer to a 40 delta. Yep, and Robert said you could do it with the January call option instead of the stock. There's our diagonals. Yeah, by the way, Trip, Kevin just typed in, said, welcome to the club. All right, so we did not look at MU, Trip, so let's go take a look at that. All right, earnings coming up on MU. Be very cognizant of that. The 25th of June, confirm them. We're sitting at the 764. Now, a few things about this. The last time we were at the 764, we took a nice little bounce, right? We are in a bearish bias, true bear, no less. I'm not really willing to take anything bearish on this. My risk is above the 8, which is all the way up here. So not my setup. I'd like to close below the 32, at least come back to the 32 and fail. But even at that, you got 30 and a quarter is our target. So there's not a lot of wiggle room in there, but earnings coming up quick. So I would be careful of it. But I do like that that all of the moving averages are in the right order. So our bias is perfect. Right? It is a true bear at this point. No, the call is for something else, Brenda. That is for something totally different. And keep in mind, Trip is in our mastermind group. So there's some stuff that we're going to talk about, mastermind type stuff. Charles, can you explain in more depth why you draw a good fib? Okay, why you can't? Okay, I got it, Charles. So Charles was saying, why can't you draw a good fib on Walmart? So we've got a lot of stair step going on in here. So if we draw the fib off of the biggest move closest to the right side of the chart, we're right here, right? Which we have violated now over here, right? So the fib is still there, but it loses some of its luster when we violate the 618. If we try to draw the fib off of here, right, we got 99, we got 100 to 101, and it's a $100 stock, Charles, where we have a $1, $1.50 move between our fib lines. So fairly tight as far as the fib goes. And then we have the same thing if we try to draw it off of where we are now, off of this here. Not that you can't, I'm just not a fan of them. Right, so in here we're looking at 99.40 and $100.44, so we're down to $1, even tighter. Right, fibs don't go everywhere. You're going to fit them in 98% of the times, but you have stocks like this that just make it more difficult to draw because of the ups and downs. Snapchat, Grant had brought Snapchat up before. You know, we could draw a fib on Snapchat and say we come from that low to that high. Right, so we're looking at 746 to 803. So about 50 cents. It's not enough, I need at least $1. Right, so certain things, whoops. Let me just escape out of that, whatever that was. Okay, beautiful. Okay, good. So you got it, Charles? Excellent. Grant said, are you careful of Walmart with how much competition they have trying to compete at the same level as Amazon? So just in general, Grant, let's go back to Walmart for a second. So Walmart, near their all-time highs at this point, right? Weekly, daily. All right. So did they break them? Oh boy, no, but they're close. So their all-time highs are right off of this top. And I may be off by a little bit, I am, right? But we're close, okay? So our all-time highs are sitting right there. That's number one. Number two, you know, I am probably one of the least individuals when it comes to the market to trading that focuses on the inner workings of the company, but I have some knowledge, some insider knowledge of Walmart. And when I say that, I don't mean insider trading type knowledge, but I know how they work and how they act because I was in manufacturing and we did business with them. And I would send my sales guys to the meeting with them where we're trying to get next year's jobs. So we're bidding on next year's work. And we used to make, you know, all of the material handling carts. So if you see their blue carts they have in there, just like the orange Home Depot carts, their aluminum racks that they have in the bakery departments and stuff like that. We made all of those types of things. So you would have their material carts, their boats, their U-boats, and they would have 10 guys, 10 companies in there that are bidding, and you would all be in the same room. And it's not like they're talking to you one-on-one. It's okay. First guy, how much do you want for making this cart? $142.50 each. Okay, second guy, how much you want? $141.50. Okay, so first guy, you got a lower price. He's got a lower price, so you need to lower your price or else you won't get the order. And they literally go down the row until they finally beat someone up enough that they get them someone to say uncle and commit to it. They get you to build up your sales force, or your workforce rather. Their goal is to get to where they're between 40 and 60% of your business. So if they pull away from you, you're in trouble. You can't afford to let them go any longer because you've spent all this extra money to build up just for that. They're vicious when it comes to business. With all that being said, that's why they're the low-cost producer out there, right? They still pay decently. Yeah, they've got their overseas stuff that they deal with and how much they pay labor and things like that, just like every other company does. Now, is there competition? Well, it actually goes the opposite direction, I think, to some extent, where they do a 2-day free without paying for Prime, right? So you got to spend a minimum amount, but there are some things in there like that. So with that being said, I think Amazon is in a much different place than Walmart. I think there's how do I say this the right way? I think a very specific person shops at Walmart all the time, and a very specific person shops at Amazon all the time. The Walmart person, if I'm going to Walmart, I'm going because I'm looking for a cheaper price. If I'm going to Amazon, I don't care. I just don't want to have to go anywhere else and get it. Just ship it to me. So I think there are different buyers that are focused on each one of the companies. Are there some similarities? Absolutely. Do they have the same thing like in Amazon where other companies are selling on there? They do. I mean, I saw that on Sears the other day. I was looking on Sears for something. I had a power wash that broke and I need to get it fixed. And you can't find anywhere that they no longer repair their own tools. You got to go to an outside company to get it done. And I saw all of these other things that were popping up on the screen as far as what they're selling, what they have available to them. So does that make sense, Grant, where I'm going with this? Triple top where, Brenda? Cool. All right, Grant, thanks. Robert said, all the fibs on Walmart, stair step, current highs all around -618 fib, exhausted around the 618. Right, because there is so without getting into more advanced fib tactics or techniques, Robert, you've got a familiarity with an ABCD or the ABC type patterns. There is some of that which has that 100% extension. So if we look here and we measure this move, it is 13 and change, right? We measure this move, it's 11 and change. We measure this move, a little bit smaller, 8 and change. We measure, well, we don't have a topping pattern yet, but if we go to here, we're about $9 there, right? So somewhere between $9 and $13 when we get our pullback and you get that same extension up, you get to that -618 because of where the pullback was from. So some of you going, what? Can you? Nope, we're not going to go into the details behind it. And before William says it, this is where getting into Fibonacci secrets has a huge advantage. So ABC, right? Push right up through the 618. So, okay, Brenda. So Brenda's saying triple top on the right side of Walmart, of the chart of Walmart. So you've got 3 candles there, Brenda, but normally the definition of that triple top looks a little bit more like this, where we had to move up, a move down, move up, a move down, a move up, a move down. That more signifies the triple top pattern than 3 candles hitting into a level. Right, and Trader Will said that's more like tweezers, more like a tweezer top than a triple top, right in there. Right, so yes, on an intraday basis, you could look at that very short term like that, but the V tops that I drew there on the left of it are more of what we're looking at for the triple top pattern anyway. Sure, Karen, I'll look at Lulu, which will probably be our last one we look at. Let me just clear this off. Lululemon. So they have become insanely expensive on their options prices, almost too much when we get to our diagonals, right, we're looking out here 186 days, so we go to December, we find that 66 delta, we're looking at $26, $2,600 to enter into this trade. I just have a problem on Lululemon, think I'm ever going to spend that kind of money when I traded Lulu when it was $30, right? I used to have this on our list, right? When we did, power option plays. So Lululemon down here at $37, right? And now it's at 180. All right, so let's take a look though. Let's pull this one out first, Karen, so we can get a better view. All right, earnings were out. They got a gap up and a big pullback. I love the pullback. I love the bounce off. So the move up to the 180 level, which we have today, is exactly what you would expect. To try to take the entry today, it's too hard for me to justify the entry. Even a pullback to the moving average separates me a little bit too much from the fib line. So if I'm going to take that trade, I would take a higher risk trade, smaller number of contracts in there. But I do like the stock overall. I love that the gap brought it up, the pullback and the bounce. So it gave traders another bite at the apple, another opportunity to take that bullish trade in there. Yeah, no kidding. Wow, Karen is right. From 30 something up to 180. Yeah, Robert, I didn't know what was wrong with it. Pulled on the ripcord and it wouldn't budge. So, and it wound up with an oil leak. They fixed the cord, and then they said the pressure component is broken. For $350, they can fix it. The guy said, you're insane to fix this thing. So I bought this Super One, a Briggs Stratton on Amazon. I bought it on Amazon because I wasn't going to the store to get it. It's like 3,800 PSI versus the 2,100 that I have. So it's kind of the Tim from Tool Time, right? More powerful tools, that's for me. Yeah, there you go, well, peanut. Excuse me. More power, more power. You got to have it, Robert. I mean, come on. The only difference between men and boys, price of toys, right? It's just, but listen, if I don't have the power wash, how am I going to wash the driveway? How am I going to power wash the fence in the back? How are we going to power wash the house? And most importantly, how am I going to power wash the boat this weekend? We're not. Got one in and got to get the second one done. So, all right. So let's take another look at where we're at in the market there. Nope, we don't want to save that. We'll close that puppy down. By the way, on the NASDAQ, the NQ trade this morning, right, because of the way I had it set up, I got rid of our lines. Let me just change it back just so we could see the lines again. Because I think I put it back to 0. I don't have the numbers in there yet. I did put it back to 0. So let's see. On that NASDAQ trade, guys, there was come on, baby, let's go. Resistance came right in here, right off of that top. Is where I was focused, right? So about 60. You got the breakout at 31, right? So we'll call it 32. Right? Good pullback on that wick and a bounce. So we'll call the entry at 32, the exit at 60. That's 28 points. 56, 56, 112 ticks. So it's $560 for one contract that you needed $500 to do the trade, better than 100%. Yeah, Robert, that wouldn't happen. I'd get shot if I did something like that. Yeah, I'm taking my toys with me when I die, William. I saw a guy had I saw a graphic on Facebook that someone had sent me that said, I had a dream last night that my wife's, that I died and my wife was selling my tools for what I told her I paid for them. 7540. Yeah, I watched it go right through it, Roman. I watched it go right through. I mean, we pushed up and we went right through that resistance right there. So Karen said, I recall the power hour of the first hour of your trading day you mentioned earlier. You only trade the breakout of that square, correct? Yes, that's right. Yeah, Demetrius, we have done some micros. We're actually going to get into them a little bit this evening as well on the micros. But I have done some of the micros. I wanted to vet them out a little bit before we start trading them. I got in on that second candle, Roman. The entry was on this candle right here. We got the breakout of resistance and the retest here, and on that bounce is where we took the entry. Maybe, Robert. As soon as I can resolve 2 or 3 other things, we're going to look to put power after hour back on the schedule. I just have way too many nights that I'm teaching right now, and I need to get some of that in check first before I do. Rate of change, it's just that, Brent. It's an advanced indicator in the Trading You Academy. In that 1 hour long training, we actually went through the rate of change and all of that and using it in there. So there are very specific setups that we take that use the rate of change, and we need a certain structure before we take the entry, not just based on the parabolic SAR. You got it, Roman. Absolutely. You know, there may be something still on Power Hour that says it, Robert, about power after hour. That's very possible. I'm not sure. We're working on trying to get a different, not a different, but an internal guy to do some of the web stuff for us as well, so we can manage some of that stuff a little bit closer. Cool. So guys, don't forget, we've got a couple things coming up over the next couple of weeks, right? Like Trading You Academy, which is this week, June 19th, right? You get access with Trading You for $49 a month. You get access to everything that we've done, including the 2 1 hours of live training that we do every single month, right? And I try to do them as 1 hour trainings instead of 2 wherever possible, right? All the bonus materials that are there, right? The manuals, the videos, there are tons of information there. Cool. All right, guys, I'll leave a link to this in, Amelia already dropped it in. Thank you, dear. To Trading You for you guys to click on it. It's in the chat box. Go check it out. With that, you guys have a wonderful and glorious rest of your day. God bless. And I'll see you all. Amelia, if you see that note in there from Barry, I'll see you guys all at our next update. All right, folks, take care. See you soon. I'll leave the room open for a couple minutes. You can grab that link. All right, bye now.